Hi, hope you're having an amazing day wherever you are. Now, today, I want to touch on three pieces of news. First one is really a Twitter user called Moon Capital. He has actually predicting that one Bitcoin will reach 98 million USD. Yes, you read correct. It's 98 million, not 1 million, 98 million. From today's $5,000, right? And the timeline he's saying is 10 to 20 years. Now, why and on what basis his numbers came about, and why I think this is not really realistic. I think it's too bullish, right? Now, so he's basically taking the wealth out there, right? The different financial assets out there. First, you look at broad money. Broad money is just basically all the deposits there is, plus all the money in circulation, which is about 90 trillion today. And he thinks Bitcoin will get 100% of this. Then gold, he thinks again, which is about 8 trillion. Bitcoin again will take 90% of that again, 7 billion. And he said that, if you assume that, or rather, because Bitcoin has a perfectly fixed supply, it will earn a real rate of return equal to that of global GDP. And he said, let's just be conservative and say that the growth is 5%, right? And then when next he's looking at the bond market, which is that. So basically, he said global debt is about 215 trillion, and he thinks Bitcoin will take 50% of that, because basically he thinks that if anything else or all bonds or all that earns less than 5%, basically Bitcoin will surpass those, and then that's another 100 trillion. Next, he looked at stock market, right? And stock market today is $73 trillion. And again, he thinks Bitcoin will take 50% of that. So that's 36.5 trillion. So lastly, he looked at real estate, and he thinks that because real estate over time is going to be either stagnant or depreciate, and because real estate today is 217 trillion, and it's just taking a rough number of 25% of those that will be replaced by Bitcoin. That means the wealth, 25% of the wealth invested in real estate will flow to Bitcoin. That's what it means, right? There's another 54 trillion. So adding all of those, from the deposit to gold to equity to bonds to real estate, right? All the money he thinks that will flow into Bitcoin is 294 trillion, right? And then based on there's only 3 more million that is not yet mined today, right? And he then divide that by the 3 million units of Bitcoin, and that gives you $98 million per Bitcoin. Now, I honestly think this is too bullish, right? Why I say that? First, let's go back one by one, right? Let's start with the $3 million, 3 million units of Bitcoin. Now, if it's so much money flowing into Bitcoin, I think there will be greater supply of Bitcoin. Really, it's not just the 3 million. People are holding today on the Bitcoin may just sell some of those as well at lower prices below 98 million. So that means technically the supply of the Bitcoin, because there will be people supplying as well. It's not just the unmined coins. Is really those people who are holding it. They might sell it to have other things, other more real assets, right? That so the supply will be more. So how many more, we don't know, but I'm just saying that these points are not totally valid, yeah. And so this is one possibility, right? That is already the supply will be more. So if you take 294 trillion, assuming that number is correct, if you divide by more supply, because people will be more willing to sell at prices. So at every range of prices, I believe, even if it's $1 million Bitcoin or 2 million or 3 or 10 million or so forth, there will be seller. I believe it wouldn't just until 98 million only there will be seller, honestly. Now, and on the point that real estate, he just think that 25% of the wealth will go into Bitcoin. That itself is very high, right? Honestly, depending on where you are, right? Real estate for some parts of the world will continue to be very, very lucrative. Will continue to be valued very highly, because after all, real estate is one of those things, that is like, it's a roof over people's head, right? It is very, very important. It's like beyond anything else, people will always want a home first. It's really like a security, a sanctuary, right? So to think that 25% of that wealth flow into Bitcoin itself is very, very very, very bullish. And honestly, yes. I mean, for now, perhaps real estate is at a high cycle, but then again, right? They always go through the boom and bust cycle, right? So to say that it is only 25%, it is very, very bullish. The other thing is this: why only Bitcoin, right? I mean, I believe I do see a future where not only Bitcoin will survive. I do see a future where there will be a few tokens, right, that credible enough that will be basically used as the medium of exchange, as the something that is like a credible asset class. So to think that again just 25% of those will go into Bitcoin is a very, very bullish number. Similarly, also equity, 50% of that will flow into Bitcoin. So again, I see a world where not only Bitcoin is valuable as a token, I do see other coins as well, each having its valuable use cases, and then for those they will have a value, and then some of those money, so maybe it's 50% of the stock market, but this 50% will flow into a multiple coins, and I don't think it's only Bitcoin, right? That's my view. And similarly for the rest of the argument, right, like gold, 90% of it will go into Bitcoin. So again, it's hard to say, right? It could be a privacy coin as well, right? That because privacy is valued for many purpose, and so that could be taking some of the share of gold wealth as well, right? So, or some people really want to have something that is physical, something that they think it is very important to have something in your hand that is really solid, right? I mean, in a world where you still want to diversify against criminal risk, right? Sorry, not criminal risk, but cyber risk, right? So I don't know. I do see that world as in, I do see a world where you still need a diversification of assets, and I don't think it's only Bitcoin. Although I am a crypto holder myself, but I do see it as a very important asset to have in the future. But to say that this is the only one that will survive, it's a bit hard for me to really digest. That's my view. Let me know what you think, right, in the comments below. Yeah. Next, we have Binance Research. They have actually published a research just a few days ago. And a few of the tables, which is very interesting, they have actually quoted cryptofundresearch.com, and in there it shows that institutions currently own about 7% only of cryptocurrency. This is direct investment to cryptocurrency, and this is really a bucket in, a drop in the bucket compared to all the other equity market today, especially like US, right, where so it's like the black part is actually representing the institutional investors, the orange part is the retail investors, and you can see, right, that basically in US equity market it is like 13 times more than the institution investments or interest in cryptocurrency, overall cryptocurrency market today. And that just show, right, there is a lot of room for growth in the future, because it just again proved the point that a lot of the institutions' money are not yet in this space. And as we've seen, right, if there's definitely value for them to invest in this space, because it can be a good diversification. It's an uncorrelated asset, especially to equity. And also it has the very high, asymmetrical risk reward nature. Because of these two factors alone, right, that should and it just needs time to educate a lot of the institutional investors before they can invest in this. So this again shows just the growth potential and the room opportunity there is, right, when you compare to the existing equity market today. Next, and it also shows that because of the earlier chart that shows that most of the holdings today of crypto is by retail investors, individuals, right? So the turnover is very high. This chart basically measure turnover, that means the trading volume divided by the market cap, and you will see that basically crypto is like 6-7 times of that. If you compare that to Nasdaq 100 and S&P 500, right, 6-7 times more. That means the people are basically churning. People are buying and selling a lot, and people are reacting a lot to news, to maybe some any news. It could be a lot of times, it could be the FUD, right? The fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Especially a lot of the individuals are not savvy investors. They are really just went in because they thought they can make a quick gains, right? Without really understanding the fundamental reasons of the use case of crypto. And that is why it is quite it is not surprising to see this kind of pattern in a new asset class, right? And this again just shows we're very early days. Second important point, which my takeaway is that given such a huge market that people are constantly trading, right? Who are the big beneficiaries? Is this really Binance, all the major crypto exchanges, including Binance, Kraken, Coinbase, right, Poloniex, and so forth, right? They are really the beneficiaries. So if you have a chance to invest in crypto exchange that you know it is very profitable and reputable, that is why, right, Binance Coin constantly increasing in value. Yeah. They also have a table which very good, right? It just summarizes in one page, right? Basically, what are the recent development? What has the in the past 3 quarters? That means in the past 9 months, what are the interesting or key development that's happening in, especially related to institutional in and crypto. So among others, it's like in 2018 May. 9th of May, Bloomberg launched its first cryptocurrency benchmark index, and Bloomberg is a very, it's a very well-known data provider, right? So by them having a crypto index clearly shows that they believe that this is here to stay. And so forth, right? Next, in July last year as well, that Thomson Reuters have also included the, data for 50 cryptocurrencies in their platform. First Bitcoin mutual fund launches in Canada in September last year, and then also you have first US pension fund invested in crypto venture capital, that's in February this year. And Russian President Putin, right, orders the government to adopt regulations for digital assets industry. And of course, March 20th this year, 2 CoinMarketCap crypto indices launch on Nasdaq and Bloomberg and Reuters, right? So all these are just signs and every key development, positive news that crypto is basically entering mainstream and is basically need to be tracked and need to be known, need to be easily discovered by the institutions, because this is like laying the foundation, laying the infrastructure ready for all the institutions to easily access them. Yeah. Last news for today is that North Korea could target Southeast Asia's vulnerable crypto sector, says defense think tank. For me, and this news, and I thought that it would be good to just highlight to people that be careful of how much money you have or how much crypto you have in crypto exchanges, because especially those based in Southeast Asia, because honestly, North Korea, they are very, very good at, cyber risk and cyber criminals. So be very careful how much you have in crypto exchanges, because every now and then we do hear of hacks, right? And then even if it's discovered eventually, but you still go through that period of anxiety and stress, right? Because your money is stuck. So please do not fall into the trap, and you have been warned, right? So be very, very careful. And of course, if you hold your coin, if you hold the passwords, and if you hold your keys, then those are your crypto. But actually, if you don't, if you leave it in third-party exchanges, then those forever will be other people's crypto and other people's access. It's just something to keep in mind, right? And yes, with that, yes. So hope you're having a great day, and truly appreciate your support. And I'll speak to you tomorrow. Thank you so much.